last September, CES 64. You bounce back, get into the win column once again. But before we talk about the performance, I want to ask you about that 4-day hospital visit that you had ahead of the fight. What happened, man? Break it down for us.
So it was like I think it was Monday uh I think it was Monday. Like I had this pain in my neck. I thought we just got done wrestling. I thought it was like I kind of tweaked something in my neck. Just a normal training injury that I just let heal. But it just kept growing and growing, like growing in pain and then growing in size. And so I think it got to Thursday, and I was like, "Hey, man, something's up," because it kind of doubled in size, and it just was extremely painful, and I was having a hard time keeping my head up. And so I decided to go to the emergency room, and they checked me out, and they were like, they thought it was my lymph nodes, and they really couldn't find out. It took them at least 3 days to figure out what was actually going on. It was actually a skin infection that I just had a cut somewhere that some bacteria got in, and I forget the name of uh, the actual thing, but they were able, like on the third day, they were able to kind of give me an antibiotic that kind of, as soon as they gave it to me, it shrunk in size and the pain left. And they were saying, luckily, I came in when I did, because if it took it another day or so, it could have been life threatening. So I was really, really, pleased to get it taken care of in that fashion. So it really didn't cause me any harm.
That's an ordeal, man. A skin infection that affects your. That's I hear it all the time, because I talk to fighters all the time. But yeah, like 1 day, 2 days late, too late, and it would have caused some major problems. I'm happy that you got that cleared up and you got to fight, right? But when you were sitting in the hospital, were you like, man, I'm not gonna be able to fight, man? I went through this camp.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it was just like the first day I was like, okay, okay, and this is just like a minor setback. And then come to the third day, Tyson. I was texting my manager Tyson, and he was like, "Hey, man, you gonna call to fight?" And I was like, "Nah, man. Man, I'm gonna fight through this and go in the cage and fight." And just by the grace of God, that everything kind of worked out. And I got the clean bill of health, and as soon as I got discharged, within hours, I was back on the mat, rolling and training. So definitely a lucky occurrence, and what I mean. That's why you always tell everybody, hey, take a shower. Even like I take showers immediately after I go work out, but it's just sometimes it's the luck of the draw. You get that one piece of bacteria that just multiplies, and it can be very, very dangerous.
Did that have any like altering effects in your approach to the fight? Like maybe even game planning or just
Not really. I mean, it was just more or less, and I was kind of like I was talking to my coach Nick, and it was like more or less like I kind of got a recharge, because essentially the only thing I was doing was just laying in the bed, and like every now and then I'll get up, do a couple squats or whatever, just moving around. But it was kind of like a recharge, let my system kind of rest and recuperate. And then once I came back, it was like nothing really changed. It was just I had more energy, my muscles were less fatigued, and it was kind of a blessing, to that far in camp to be one, have a week off, but still be able to kind of function at that high level of which I was doing before I got sick.
maybe that's something that you could utilize, tell your
Yeah,
coaches like, hey man, I need to take like
yeah,
four
yeah.
days
Have a
off,
week off.
even though
Yeah,
I'm not hurt, but I just need the 4 days because it worked last time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you go in there, man, you get the rear naked choke in the first round. Is that what you expected in this matchups to get the submission?
Not really. Because the funny thing about it is, so they had an opponent for me, a couple months out, and he ended up getting COVID, and so then they were like, okay, this is going to be your opponent, and so I had this idea that it was going to be this jiu-jitsu guy out of Florida, and in my head I was like, okay, cool, cool, and I texted coach, my coach Nick. I was like, okay, man, I think with this guy, we just need to keep it off the ground and whatnot. And he was like, "What guy?" And it's like I sent him the name of the guy. Oh, he's like, "Oh, no, 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 that guy's not fighting." this guy's the guy you're going to fight. So like around that time that I got out the hospital, that's when I kind of confirmed, oh, I'm fighting this guy. And so, I mean, more or less the game plan was just, go out there and kind of just impose my will. From what I got from the guy, I knew he was a tough guy, and he definitely had a decent game. But, more or less it was just put my game plan in, and whatever falls, falls, and then just, take advantage of it.
Ahead of the fight, you were off back-to-back losses the first time in your career. So did you feel, that there was some kind of a big relief off your shoulders after getting this win?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Because no one wants to, fall down three times back to back, and that just to show people one in my hometown, just to show people, hey, I'm still, that top level guy, and hey, there's sometimes you fall back, but it's all about how you get back up. That really makes a difference, and that kind of showed in the fight that I mean, I'm still here, still top of my game, and I mean, I'm not going to let that kind of those two losses kind of stifle me in my progression.
After that, did you know that they were gonna put this title fight together like immediately afterwards?
I mean, there were talks about it. I didn't know 100% surety that there was going to be a title fight, but I've amassed, I think it's 4 or 5 fights in CES undefeated. So the likelihood of me fighting for a title is high because I haven't been beat in CS cage. So and neither has Eric. So I think this is a really good matchup. And further down the line, I knew that we probably would fight again. Not this soon, but definitely knew that hey, it was definitely a possibility of me stepping in the cage with him.
So with Eric, was he the first choice for them to put you against?
I believe so. Like they didn't give me any like typically what happens is they will be like, hey, fight this guy, and I was like, yeah, I don't really think about it more or less. Just whoever is they put in my path, I have to take them out and then move on. So it wasn't like they gave me multiple choices. They might have gave me multiple choices, but that my manager just wanted to see what I would say, and I said yes to it. So um, I think it's a really good matchup for me, and stylistically, just with how what he brings to the cage and what I bring to the cage, I think it's a really good matchup for me.
Yeah, it's a good what is it, barometer, right? Of
Yeah,
like where
yeah,
you're at in your career and your skill set. Because Eric, he's been through the UFC cycle twice now, so it's
yeah,
like he's seen pretty much everything, and you get to see what you can do against that kind of
yeah.
caliber of fighter, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And, he brings a lot to the table, and that's why I kind of relished in this opportunity. Just with his experience and where he's been, who he's trained with, and just to test my skills against that. It really kind of pumps me up when I go to train, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to show the world what I can do, and in comparison to what he's provided to the MMA world. I really look forward to it.
Yeah, and it's been a little over 6 months between fights, so it gives you a lot of time to develop even before you actually get into a training camp for
Yeah.
Eric. So what did you like focus on before getting into the training camp?
More or less, just keeping fluidity in my game. Working on my ground game, working on my standard. Just making sure that everything, all the pieces kind of fit together. And and then once we got that confirmation, we kind of dialed it into to what we wanted to do throughout the camp to kind of progress my skills and get it better suited for this opportunity.
Is it more of consistency? That word comes up a lot in training and in focus, and in MMA, it seems like the guys that become more consistent as they grow bigger in their career, they have more success. Is that something that you think about a lot?
Yeah, yeah, like I would really, I mean, my kind of, uh, I would say, good year would be like me fighting at least 3 to 4 times. I mean, like at least 3 to 4 months, trying to get it in there. If you could do it quicker, but like once you kind of get in that groove and get in shape and you're moving on all cylinders, it kind of like if a fight kind of falls in, it falls into place and your body's ready. Because a lot of guys, well, I would say a lot of people from the outside don't understand the amount of time and energy it takes to, one, get in fight shape, and two, get prepared for a fight. So if you're prepared already for a fight, and it comes up and you can just step in there, that's your body's going to thank you more or less. You having to maybe not fight half the year, and then at the end of the year you fight again, and your body just, it needs time to prepare and recuperate after fights. But if you're in that good enough shape, where you can just kind of jump back to back, that's why if guys do quick fights in the UFC, they hey, I want to fight next week, because if I fight 2 times in a month, then hey, that's kind of, I got 2 of the 3 fights I wanted. So but yeah, staying consistent is definitely key to the progress and the getting to that upper epsilon of fighting. Because if you're consistent all the way through and you keep everything going, it kind of speaks in your development as well as how you perform.
And you get to prove to yourself, right? Because proving to yourself, I think, is the most important thing for a fighter in an actual fight. You could be the best in the world inside the gym, but if you can't do it in front of the lights, it doesn't really count.
Yeah, 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 and you know what I mean. I would say, I'm I wouldn't say a clear case, but I mean, I'm kind of in that same frame of mind, like, because I've had up to like 3 opportunities, good opportunities, and I mean, I just kind of fell short, and one, um, I would say the consistency was kind of lagging. I wouldn't say my skills were lagging. It was just my consistency and being prepared. Once I came in the lights, and I don't know if Tyson said told the story before, but for my first contender series fight, I mean, I was all gun ho and I was all ready, and then like I go up to the because that's at the old Ultimate Fighter gym, before they moved to the Apex, and I go to warm up and I'm hitting pads, and I forget that I forgot my mouthpiece, and so I'm all the way out there and I forget my mouthpiece. So just small things like that can kind of derail your train of thought, and but it happens, and me learning over the years that if I'm consistent and I'm continuing to do what I know I can do, just the kind of the proof is in the pudding, and it will show up when I fight.
What do you think you're gonna do in this one, man? It seems like it's a really good matchup for you, man. When I look at the fight, I'm thinking like you have some momentum. He's on a losing streak. What do you see in this fight?
He's definitely going to come hungry, because um, having the CS title is a prestige, and the the track record kind of speaks. People that have the CS title, they there's just the next stop is the UFC. So I know he's going to come hungry, and I'm going to come hungry as well. But I think with my style and the way I fight, I can kind of put the pressure on him a little bit more than he's expecting, and just cause him to make some tactical errors. I think more or less, if I stay on my P's and Q's and do what I train to do, he's going to make some drastic mistakes, and I'm going to be able to capitalize on them.
All right, April 1st, CES 67 main event. Vacant middleweight title is on the line. Justin, I'm happy for you, man. It's a big fight, a big name. Let's go out there and see what you can do, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for having me again.